Caroline, can you hear me? Hi Rachel, you okay? Okay, so you may not be able to see me, but you should be able to hear me. Caroline, yes, you can hear me. Brilliant. Wow, 25 on here already. Hi Dawn, hope you're okay. Rachel saying hear me loud and clear. Hi Sally, thank you for that Rachel. Hi Lisa, hope you're okay. Right, let me get rid of that. Hi Thea, hope you're okay. Hi Alison. Yeah, keeping well, thank you. Are you? Hi Addie from Houston, Texas. Hi Sue. Right, I think I'm ready. Hi Charmaine, happy Sunday, hope you're okay. I've got a few things just to tell you. Hi Linda Lee from New York. Hi Monica. Philippa saying hello Ashley, missed a couple of weeks but back and raring to go. Okay, well Philippa, don't worry, because anything that you've missed on a Sunday night live is in the live playlist on my channel. So you can just go back to the playlist on this channel and they're all in date order. Hi Anita, hope you're okay. Anita's saying, hi Ashley, received my order. Thank you so much for the gift. Very pleased with the goods, lovely. Oh, thank you, Anita. Addie's saying, I've learned so much watching you. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. I'm reading the comments on my phone, so I'm just moving my phone because I'm on a different desk. I'm on my other desk tonight because I'm going to be doing something in Canvas Workspace tonight. And I'm using the downloadable program. I thought, you know, we've not done really anything in Canvas for a while. And I'd seen something pop up on, I think it was on my Pinterest, and I thought, oh, we can do that in Canvas, so I'll show you how to do it. You might not need it now, but you never know, you might need to do something with it in the future. So, hi Alison Morgan, hope you're okay. Okay, so you should be able to see my other desk, the desk that I normally work at when I'm using the machine, and you should see a big heart with the word love attached to it. So if you can just all let me know, I can see it. I just want to make sure you can all see it. Aaron, is it? Same way. I am actually going to get it to watch on Sunday live from the start. Brilliant. Well done, Aaron. Addie's saying, Alison, she's a great teacher. Hi, Barbara. Hope you're okay. Hi, Ashley and everyone. Looking forward to this. Okay. Right, there's a few things before I start. There's about 35 of you, I think, on here now. So before I get going, if you can just all let me know that you can see this pinky red heart with the word love. Alison saying, my husband loves listening to Ashley. Funny, she's so calm. You won't think so when I'm shouting at Hannah. Charlotte's saying it's beautiful. Okay. Rachel's saying can see it. Addie's saying can see it. Yes, we can see it. Brilliant. That's great. Okay. So basically this is quite simple to do, but it involves a couple of functions within Canvas Workspace. I'm using the Canvas Workspace for download because we can use our own fonts, but you can do this exact same thing in Canvas Online with the built-in fonts. So it's entirely up to you. If you have a preference on which program you prefer using, you can do it in both. But the advantage of using the Canvas Workspace for computer is that you can use a font of your own. So let me just go back because I'm missing, I can see comments flashing up now. Yeah, you're all saying you can see it. Mandy G saying, hi Ashley, sorry I'm late. Mandy, it's fine, I've not started yet, don't worry. Yes, can see it. Hi Vicky, hope you're okay. I can see the heart, watching on my phone, waiting for TV. Ellen's saying yes, yes. You're all saying yes, you can see it. Brilliant. Okay, right, well before we start, first thing to let you all know, for anybody that might be interested, the card sketches have started up again, and I posted on my blog, when I think when I did it last week, I think. So if you go to my blog, go to applelover53.co.uk, click on the blog tab, and you should find the card sketch that was posted. I think it might be card sketch number 8 from memory. I've carried the numbers on, but obviously we're into a new year now. I didn't do a card sketch in December, just purely and simply because things just got busy with projects and Christmas. So I purposely didn't post a card sketch in December, but I thought they've been popular, so I thought I'd carry them on this year. So the card sketches on my blog somewhere within the last week if anybody wants to take part. They are just for fun, but I do try and send a little bit of a gift of some description once a winner has been chosen. They normally go live on the blog around about the first week in January, and you have until the 25th of the month. So you have until the 25th of January to send me a photograph of your project if you're going to, do the card sketch. And by sending me a photograph, you're kind of giving me permission to enable me to use it in a blog post after the deadline date, okay? So that's the first thing, the card sketches is live. The other thing is, I don't know if you all know, but some of you will have seen a patchwork sample I showed you. I can't even remember when, it was maybe sometime early December, and it was made with half square triangles that I'd been cutting using the fabric mat. Well, what started off as just me testing half square triangles turned into a project, and Makers Superstore asked me would I do a blog post for it. So there's no video, but there's a step-by-step tutorial with photographs, and that's on the Makers Superstore blog post. So if any of you are interested in going and having a look at that, go to makersuperstore.com, click on their blog, and you'll see my patchwork, I can't even speak, my patchwork cushion and how I made it. And it's a cushion with a zip on the bottom. It's actually quite easy to do. I might actually do a video on how to do another one in the future, because usually when I make cushions on my channel, I do envelope back cushions. This one's actually got a zip in the bottom, and it was quite easy to do, and I've never actually shown how to do it, but the actual tutorial of kind of with pictures and a step-by-step is on Makers, so if any of you are interested in that. And then I have been dusting off my embroidery machine in the last week, and I've been doing projects. So a project that went up the other day, just trying to find it, that was on Saturday, yesterday, was an In the Hoop coaster set. So that's on my blog. And I've also got an adorable gnome heart kind of little wall banner project scheduled for in a couple of weeks on the channel, and that was cut using applique pieces with the standard mat and the standard blade. And I think I posted a picture of that on Instagram. So if you want to see what's coming up over the next couple of weeks, I tend to put sneak peeks on Instagram. So if any of you are not following me, here's my Instagram name. And I tend to just put, you know, sneak peeks of projects that I'm working on or that will be coming to my YouTube channel, but I tend to put them on Instagram when I'm working on them, and then they might not get to YouTube for a few weeks. So if you're following me on Instagram, you'll always see what I'm working on or what's likely to be coming up. And I kind of tend to do say, if it's something that's coming up, I'll say video coming to the channel soon, something like that. So that's for any of you that use Instagram. Right, let's flick back to Canvas. So let's see what people are just saying before. Oh, Barbara's put, it is number 8. Okay, thank you for that. I thought it was, but I kind of schedule that much in advance. I forget. Once I've done something, I kind of take it out of my mind. Annette's saying, hi everyone. Sally is saying, I think I may have lost my sound for some reason. Okay, well, everyone else can still hear me by the sounds of it. Mandy G is saying your patchwork cushion and coasters were lovely. Oh, you've seen them, thank you. Hi, I can hear you. Barbara's saying no. Alison, Ashley lets us go random. Thanks, Barbara. And boy, do we go random. Why has somebody asked me a question? What are you talking about? Oh, right. Alison's saying, does it have to be Stampin' Up products on cards? No, Alison, it doesn't. I just give you a sketch and you can do with it what you want. You can turn it into a scrapbook page. You can make a card with it. You can make a, you know, a topper for a tag with it or for a box or anything. Whatever you want, I just give you the sketch. And I try to keep them fairly simple. And, you know, a lot of you that have got ScanNCuts, if there's like a shape involved, you know, you can cut the shape with your ScanNCut, or if you've got dies, whatever. So Sally's saying, sounds back now, yippee, brilliant. Vicky's saying, I've switched to my laptop so I can follow along in Canvas. And Alison's saying, good to know, Sally. Okay, right, so we're in Canvas Workspace for computer. Okay, and I'm basically going to show you how to make that heart with the word kind of attached to it. Now, one thing I would say, depending on what font you use, I wouldn't cut these very small. So they're not necessarily going to be card fronts. You'd have to test them out with whatever font you're using. I cut this one at about 11 by 11, so this one typically I would think would be used on a scrapbook page, and you could, you know, maybe tuck some photographs or something behind it. But you could try it smaller, it would just depend what font you're using. Carol's saying, I can see, lovely. Alison Morgan saying, thanks, Ashley. Right, okay. So I'm going to start with the same design. Okay, so the heart and then the word love. The font I used from memory, we'll find out in a minute, but I think it was called Salika, S-A-L-I-K-A. I'll try, let me just see if I can type it on the screen. Just give me 1 minute and see if I can edit what I've got on here. It was from Defont. I think that's how it's spelt. So it should appear on the screen. But I'll tell you for sure in a minute once I get into the project. So I'm in the basic shapes. So let me get rid of that. Hopefully you've all seen that now. I'm going to come down to the hearts and I'm just going to choose the basic heart, and I'm just going to drag it out to make it bigger for now. You can always make this bigger afterwards, but just in the hope that you'll be able to see the screen better. So with the heart selected, I'm going to come over to the second icon over on the right hand side, which is the editing icon. Obviously remembering that we're using Canvas Workspace for download, for download for computer. Let me just make this a bit bigger, okay? So I'm going to come down to the bottom to where it says offset. And then in the create offset line box that's opened up now here, I'm going to take the spacing up to about 0.28, so probably just over 1/4 of an inch. Again, you can make this thicker or narrower depending on the size that you're making it. I think I used maybe this size in my sample. It might have been 0.24, but we'll go with 0.28 this time. But I want to say inward, and I'm going to say OK, and that's going to put me a smaller heart on top. Okay, just for the exercise of the video, I'm going to colour them in. You don't have to do this, but sometimes it helps you see it a bit better. So I'm going to colour the top one in pink and the bottom one in black, and you can see that the pink is on top. Okay, and that's how it needs to be. The smaller heart needs to be on top. So I'm going to select both, and for anybody that's new, because everybody always asks when I use the colour fill, I use a Mac, and that's why I've got these pencils. It's just the way my colour fill shows up on a Mac. So I'm just going to get rid of that for now. So I've got the black heart, the biggest one on the bottom, the smaller pink heart on top, and I've got them both selected. I'm going to come down to the bottom of the edit screen to where it says process overlap, and I'm going to hit subtract, and that's basically punched the smaller pink heart out of the big heart. So now you can see this is hollow, it's just a frame, and that's what you need for this process. Now I'm going to come over to the text tool over on the left, and I'm going to left click on my mat anywhere just so that I can type my words. And I'll use the same words. I'm going to type the words love, and I'm going to do them all in capitals. So I'm just holding my shift key and typing the word love and hit enter. Now I'm going to come up to the top of the screen to where my fonts are and scroll down and find this font called Salika or Salika. I think it's, I don't know how you say it, but I've probably even given you the wrong name. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's Salika. So it's the name that I put on the screen, and I'm just putting back on for you. And that's from dafont.com. Okay. So now I want to fit this word in this space here. So I'm going to rotate it. Again, I'm just going to fill it with colour so that hopefully you can see it better. And I'm just going to drag it out and make it bigger until I kind of am happy with the space it's taking up. Okay, now let me just show you something. So I'm going to select both, right click and make a duplicate and just pop one onto one side. So you may be saying, okay, you're just going to weld that. Oh, I need to back up a step. I've just realised I've not done something. Let me go back. Let's go back to the words. Just rotate this back again. So the first thing I need to do is weld the letters together. So I will make them bigger so you can see. Were you all shouting Weld the Letters? Happy New Year, it's Lynn from miserable grey wet Costa Blanca. Hi Lynn, Happy New Year. Yeah, well, it's grey and wet and miserable here too, so. Hi Yolandi, hope you're okay. Right, okay, so sorry, I'm backing up a step. So we've got the heart as the frame and I've typed the word. Okay, now I'm going to right click on this word. There's no ungroup option. So that's because I typed this word as in one. So to be able to break this apart, and sorry Vicky if you're following along, if I've messed you up, you need to select your word and you need to come over under process overlap and you need to come to the divide icon, which is the second icon along. And when you hit the divide, you'll see that blue boxes appear around all the letters now and all the parts that make this up, and that means it's separated them. So I'm just going to left click somewhere on the page to deselect. The L and the O are already overlapped. I'm going to leave them as they are. I'm going to select the V and just using the 4 directional arrows on my keyboard, I'm just going to scoot the V over until it overlaps the O a little bit, and then I'm going to select the E and do the same because I want to weld them together first. Okay, so they should all now be overlapping. So I'm going to select, let me just move the heart out of the way because I keep grabbing that. I'm going to select just the letters, and then this time I'm going to come to weld, and hopefully they will weld together as one. Right, so it's telling me, it's not allowing me because there's some lines overlapping, and I think it's this bit here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to separate the V and the E, and I'm going to zoom in on this section here, if it'll let me choose my magnifying glass. So can you see there's something here and there's something here? So I'm just going to leave them in for now and see if it'll let me weld these two on their own. Okay, so it's let me weld them now, but it wouldn't let me weld them when I was trying to weld them to the rest of the letters. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom back out to about 50% to bring the other letters in. So now I'm going to bring these two in and just bring them along, and then hopefully they'll now let me weld the two sections together. So I've had to weld these two because the L and the O had little bits in the middle that it's just the way the font has been designed. And now I want to weld all the rest of the letters together. So I'm going to hit weld. So now they've welded. So if I fill them with colour in the hope that you can see them better, they are now one welded word. Okay, so Vicky's saying, I don't have the font yet, so I will try with one I have. I'm so behind, so not messed up. Okay, that's fine. So we've got our heart frame, just to recap, and our welded word. So I'm just going to bring this back over and I'm just going to rotate it using this circle at the top. And then I'm going to position it in place and drag it out to kind of make it fit within this space here. Now I'm going to select both, right click and make a duplicate, and I'm just going to put the duplicate on one side. Okay, so the word love is overlapping this black section of the frame. If I select both and hit weld, that's what you'll get. Okay, but as you can see, you still get these elements here as part of the heart. And if I show you my original, you should be able to see that in between the O and the V and the V and the E, there's no section here. There is a little bit still here on it, but a lot of that is from how I positioned this letter L. Okay. So you could just do that, you could just weld it, but sometimes it might be that you want, you know, these bits taken out, and you might want it to look like a continuation. So you want it to kind of look that like you've started your, you know, your design here and gone around, and then it kind of goes up round the letters and then adjoins it, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to move that off to one side and bring these in. Okay, so what you have to do now, I'm just going to try and rotate it a little bit more. So the secret bit to this is that whatever is going to be on top, so in this case the word, it has to come down over the bottom of this shape. So in this case the heart. Now again, depending on how you position it, how far down, so this is a little bit further down than, oh sorry, you're not on the right screen now, let me come back. So here's the word, and I'm going to bring it down, and it's got to kind of come off the shape. Okay, now I did it so it literally was just off the bottom, but I'm going to bring it down a little bit more this time and see how it looks. Yeah, I think I've just realised, Ellen, and changed it back. So you should be back now onto my canvas screen. Yeah, sorry guys, I realised I was still on the wrong camera. Just having a quick drink of my juice. Yeah, back on canvas now, I can see it. You should all be back with me now, okay? Yeah, Barbara, I've done it. You should all be back now with the canvas screen. I can see it on my phone, okay? So, the word needs to be on top of the shape. You're going to have to play around with this. There's no kind of, you know, one fits all kind of thing. So I'm going to try it. Last time I had it a little bit further up. I'm going to bring it a little bit further down now, so there's a bit of a gap here, and see what happens. So I'm going to select both. I'm going to come over to process overlap. Okay, so Charlotte's saying we really wanted to see what you were doing. All good now. Rachel's saying yes, you're back. Vicky's saying yes, back. Okay, thumbs up, right. Okay, so you're all with me so far. So what you need to do now is come over to process overlap, and I'm going to come to the third icon along this time, which is remove overlap, and select that. And it doesn't look as though a lot has happened, but I'm just going to left click anywhere on the mouse to on the mat to deselect. I'm going to drag the word love out of the way. It's left the word love intact. And then we've got this. So we've got a heart with holes in. Everyone's saying okay now. Fab. So we want to get rid of these sections here. So if we right click, there's no ungroup. Okay, so what we need to do with it selected, we need to come back to process overlap, and this time it's divide. Okay, so the first part was process overlap, remove overlap, move the letters out of the way, you're left with this. Now it's divide. Divide is going to break it apart. Okay, so if I left click again to deselect and drag the main part of the heart out of the way, I can now delete this. Basically, these are the bits we've chopped out. And if you look closely, this is slightly curved and this is slightly angled. And that's because this is where this was sat in when we took it apart. Okay, so now I've just positioned this back in. So basically this now looks as though we've drawn the shape and then we've done the word and it all joins together. And these bits in the middle that are on this one here have gone. Okay, so if I select these two now and then come and weld, they should weld together if they're fully attached. I'm not so sure whether this is fully attached down here on the bottom left, but we'll soon find out. Okay, so it's changed to one colour, which makes me think it is all attached. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come up to the fill and I'm going to remove the fill. And then I can now see that this is all welded together. Now, I'm just going to zoom in on this little bit here. I could tidy this bit up if, you know, if I think this is looking a bit funny in this corner. So I could select these nodes and just hit the delete key on my keyboard and just see how it looks. I might be able to get rid of a few more nodes, I'm not sure, let's see. Just to kind of tidy up that corner. Okay, so that makes it a little bit of a smoother curve now. So if I just come back, so if I bring this one in, so to just weld the words to the shape, you can see we've still got this joining line. But by doing the remove overlap and then breaking the shape apart and getting rid of the bits that we wanted to cut out, this now looks as though it's one continual shape. So if I fill this in with the same colour pink, hopefully you can see the differences if I put them side by side. So let me just see if there's any comments. So we've got Alison saying, wow, clever when you know how. Barbara's saying, we'll definitely try this. Tracy is saying, super late, we'll have to rewind. Evening all though, anyhow. Yeah, don't worry, Tracy, it is being recorded, so you should be able to watch it later. Rachel's saying, very clever idea for my niece's birthday card. Made 3 already, couldn't decide which card to give. Okay. So you could use this technique for anything. So you could put the word anniversary in here and use a heart and make it into, you know, a scrapbook page. If I get that one out of the way and put this one, let's bring you back in so you can see my map fully. So if I stretch this one out as big as I can make it, you know, to more or less fill a 12 by 12, this would be lovely as a scrapbook page. Vicky's right, what's Vicky saying? Mandy's saying looks great. I got it to work, not happy with where it joined my E. Could you curve the word to match the shape first? Yeah, probably. You could try doing text to path, and then once you've got your text on the path, or just position your letters, Vicky, in place before you initially weld them when they're all individual letters and see how that looks. I'm just kind of giving you a technique and then you can play around with it. As I said, depending on what text you use, you know, these might not work for making small for the front of a card, but they would certainly work for bigger shapes. You could put somebody's name. So Anita's saying it looks great, going to try this. Lisa's saying great. Mandy's saying you could cut with HTV and put it on a shirt. Yeah, definitely. The bigger the better for something like this, I would say. As I say, you know, if you shrank this down to try and put it on an A6 or a USA 2 size card, depending on the font you use, it may or may not cut that well. So I would say, if you're going to use a technique like this, make it on something big. It would look maybe good for a sign, you know, used on if any of you do vinyl for signs. Doesn't have to be a heart. Let's shrink that one down and put that to one side. I'll get rid of the welded one because that's not the effect that we wanted. But you know, maybe if you make signs, let's drag another one out and let's see what we can do with this one. So just before I go on to that, one thing I would say is when you've got this, if you were going to make, say, something like a scrapbook page and you want a matting layer, don't forget you can always, hopefully you should be able to come down to the offset, choose a spacing. I'm just going to go with something like 0.12. I'm going to say outward, and I'll say create an offset line around the outer edge only and see how that looks. And then let's fill that with a purple, and then we'll go over to the layers panel, which is fourth icon down on the right, and I'll bring the purple to the bottom, and then you've got like a matting layer you can put it on. So you could always do something like that. So let's try, I'm just going to shrink that down for now, out of the way. Let's try, say, for maybe like a sign. So we've got a rectangle. We'll come to the edit icon. We'll come down to offset. I'll make the offset bigger. I'll go bigger this time. Let's go 0.32 inward, and let's see. I'm going to say corner type bevel because it's a rectangle, so we want it angular rather than rounded. So we've got the small rectangle on top of the big rectangle. We'll choose both. We'll do subtract. That's going to give us just a frame. So if I fill it with colour in the hope that you'll see it better. So the three functions that I'm using here tonight are all under the process overlap. Well, probably actually all four, isn't it? We're using subtract, we're using weld to weld the letters together, we're using remove overlap to punch the words out of the shape, and then we're using divide as well. So we're using all the functions in the process overlap. Hi Karen, hope you're okay. What you're saying? Sunday dinner's ready, we'll catch up on replay. Don't worry about it, Karen, it's fine. So, what word should we use? Let's try a different word. Should we try it in the bottom this time and see? Give me a word, somebody, and we'll see what we can do. Can't see anything coming up. Oh, hang on. Charlotte Keller is saying, Alison, to get the word a different colour, I wonder if you wouldn't weld the shape and the word, cut them separately and piece them together. Have I missed a comment by Alison? Oh, I have. Right, Alison said, how could we two-tone it to duplicate the love? What do you mean, Alison? Because it's all one complete word. Do you mean to make another layer of the word love? If you do, you just duplicate it before you cut it out. Right, what word are we going to use? I need to go back now. I need to scroll back. Welcome, your name. I have to go and get on with tea. Oh, that's fine, Sally, don't worry. Could make a great Mother's Day card with mum and then flowers. Yeah, Karen, the only thing is, that's what I'm saying, it depends how big your card's going to be. I would test it out, because it, depending on the font you use, it might not work that great. So you might have to choose a more, you know, thicker, robust font. Alison's saying yes. Okay, right, well, let's do another one, and then I think I know what you mean, Alison, so I'll address that in a minute. Marcia's saying late again, but so happy to see you are doing this. Just this morning saw name inserted in a heart, just on the outline, not on inside of the heart. Duplicate it before weld into the frame. Okay, right. So what, I need to do a word. What we're saying, what word, what we got here. Somebody said home. Do you want me to do home? Okay, let's do home. So we'll come to the text icon, click on the page. Again, I'm going to keep it in capitals, because sometimes I think things like this that have to kind of overlap something work better when they're in capitals, because the bottom line of the font is all on the same line, if that makes sense. So let's do home, and we'll stick with the same font. I'm just going to drag it out before I weld it. So I think that might look about the right size. So I've got the word selected. I'm going to come over to process overlap, and I'm going to hit divide. That's going to break up the word, and then I'm going to shuffle each of the letters over in turn so that they slightly overlap. I don't want them to overlap too much, because sometimes when you overlap them too much, you lose the definition of the word. So I've got the 4 letters. I think they're all overlapping by the look of it on my screen. So I'm going to come back over here and go weld. And they all look as though they're welded together. So again, I'm just going to fill it with colour. And I only do this in the hope that you can see it better, excuse me, on the screen. Right, so Alison, is this what you meant? So if you duplicate your word and put your word off to one side, then bring in your letters. Now remember that the bottom line of your word has got to extend beyond the bottom of your shape. Okay, so we'll try this and see how this looks. I'm trying to read comments, but I think I'm missing comments, because I've just seen Marcia say yes, just like the word love on the heart. Okay, so I'm going to select my rectangular frame and my word. I'm going to come over to process overlap and choose remove overlap. And I don't know if it's done anything, so I'm just going to do it again. Oh yes, it has. So move my word away now, And then I've got this frame now with these cut out sections in it. So what's Ted saying? True, a word like family with mixed upper and lower case would have the Y descend beyond the line. Yeah, it would. We can try that in a minute, but yeah, that's what I mean. Sometimes these things work better when all the bottom of the font is all on one line. Okay, so I've punched the word out of the frame. I'm going to select my frame. I'm going to come over and hit divide to break it up. Just going to move the main part of the frame out of the way and get rid of all the bits and hit delete. Bring the frame back in and then position this back where it will fit. Okay, select both and then come back over here and hit weld. Now my computer is running a bit slow, and I do find that sometimes with Canvas for computer, when I am recording, it does tend to lag. So I'm not sure whether it's going to catch up in a minute or whether I need to weld this together again, or whether it's not welding because they're not quite overlapping. So I'm just going to select both again and try and weld. I'm going to take the fill out of the word home because I might be able to see better. I don't think this is overlapping quite here. So what I might have to do is just get the frame and just shrink it down ever so slightly so that the word overlaps. So Vicky's saying, I'm using a font called Calgary, which works too if anyone is interested. Okay, I might have that actually. That could be a Canvas font, is it, Vicky? I recognise the name. Right, let's just try this. So I've got both selected and I'm going to weld. Okay, and now it's filled with colour. So basically, it was probably where I positioned the word home. It just wasn't ever so slightly overlapping. So rather than touch the word, I didn't want to make the word smaller because I've already duplicated it here. I just literally shrunk the frame in like marginally. So now this is all one. And then, is that what you meant, Alison? You could then position this on top. So if I go to the layers panel and bring the pink word on top, is that what you mean? I'm not sure what you meant, Alison. Or did you mean use an offset first and weld that? You could do that as well. If you wanted to make this part slightly bigger and then have this smaller, you could do that. Right, let me catch up with the comments because I'm not sure, because I know that you're having conversations amongst yourself with things I'm missing. Vicky's saying, I centered horizontally before I removed the overlap. It helped me line them back up. Okay. Ted is saying, I think if it was slow, you'd have a spinning beach ball. Not always, Ted. Not when I'm filming, I don't always, but I know what you mean, yeah. Alison's saying, thank you, looks lovely. Right, so let's see if we've got the Calgary, and let's try a word with upper and lower case. So is everybody okay with that one so far? Just going to shrink it down and move it off to the side. So we'll come back to the basic shapes. We'll grab a rectangle. We'll stretch it out. We'll come to the edit icon. So it would look like a shadow. Yeah, okay. So you would have to weld the word, Alison, and then create your offset, but make sure you untick that box that says around the outside edge only, because you don't want the outside edge only, you want the insides and the outsides bigger. In fact, we'll do that now. We'll do that first. Right, so we've got a rectangle. We're going to come to the offsets. I'm going to leave it as an inward and say OK. That's given me the small rectangle. I'm going to select both and use subtract. Again, I'm just going to fill it with black so you know we've got the frame. We'll come back to the text icon and we'll do home again. Yeah? And see if this works. Again, this is a bit like trial and error with your fonts. I've got the font. Let's see how it's going to look. I think probably can make that a bit bigger. Don't want to make it too big because I'm going to create an offset of it. But so we've got the font selected. Oh, we were looking for, what was it? Calgary. Right, let's have a look. I've got Calgary, just called Calgary, and that's a canvas font. But did you say it was called Calgary something else? Calgary medium metallic. Okay. This one is called Calgary, and this is a canvas font. But I think I'm just going to go back to my Celica for now because I quite like that. With it selected, I'm going to come to divide. I'm just going to scoot over the letters so that they overlap a little bit. Weld those together. Okay, so these are now all one. So if I fill that with purple, you can see. So for Alison now, if you come to offset, say make an outward offset, let's make it 0.12, and we don't want it around the outside, we want it around the outsides and the inside. So we're going to untick that. Corner type I'll try round and we'll say OK. And that's now given us this bigger word. So this now, if I fill this with green, let's just move all these down and try it. I don't know whether this is going to work or not. Now that looks as though it's not punched the hole out, but it has. But usually if you hit subtract, it will take that stray bit away. So if we bring this down now, let's try what Vicky said and centre it. So we'll come to align centre. I've got the letters as much as I can descending below this black line. Select both of these and go to remove overlap. Let's drag this away. Yeah. With the frame selected, use divide. Drag the frame away to get rid of all these bits. Bring the frame back in. Position the bigger word back in place, and if we've got it so it's slightly overlapping, it should weld, and you know it's welded when it's all changed colour. So this is now all one section. So if I remove the fill, you can see this is all joined together. I'll just put the fill back in, and then this we need to bring to the front. So I'm going to go to the layers panel, and this is the one that's selected because it's highlighted in blue, and I'm just going to take it to the top, which means it's now in front, and that would sit on there. Okay, so is that what you meant, Alison, now? Ted's saying, no, it's Calgary medium metallic. Oh, did it? Right, okay. Let's just type home again. Let's go to Calgary. Oh yes, I see what you mean now. You're right, I can see it there. I was only looking in that one box. Well, that's a Canvas font. I'm sure it is. That's in Canvas Workspace, online or download. I'm positive it is. Okay, so let's see what we're saying. Thank you, Ashley, so kind of you. That's brilliant, perfect. Right, okay, so that was what you wanted to know. So then, was it Ted that was saying family with upper and lower case? Well, let's try it. So I'm just going to make that one smaller and put it down there out of the way. And we'll just try another frame. But like I say, you should be able to make these any shape. Lisa's saying beautiful. Ted is saying, I can imagine this as a home decor with faith as the word and some scripture inside the frame. Yeah. Okay, well, should we try faith? Should we try a different font? F-A-I-T-H. I've got another font that I was looking at today. Let's see if I can find it. See how this one, don't know whether this one's going to work or not. As I say, you need to play around with these. I don't think this one's, I quite like that Salika, but this is another one. We could try this and see. What do you think? Do you think this font, or should we change it to the other one? I'm not so sure about this font. I'll fill it with colour. See if you can see it better. Do you prefer this font or the one I've just used? Just tell me which, and then we'll try it with this word. Yeah, try it with a dingbat font and see. I think, as somebody else said before, was it Ellen, this popped up, I think, in like my Pinterest or somewhere. And I just thought, oh, that would be a good project for us to try out in Canvas. So literally I've had a very quick play with it this morning. Cut that heart I showed you at the beginning and thought we'd, we could have a look at it. Last one, change. Okay. So one of you saying the last one. Oh, the last one and change. So you mean the one I used before, the Salika? I don't like the look of this one that's on the Salika. Right, okay, that's fine. Sorted. Right, so let's make the frame first. So we'll go back to the rectangle. We'll go to the edit icon. We'll come down to offset. We'll take the frame up. Let's try 40. Inward. Make it bevel because it's straight lined. So we're getting a thicker frame this time. We'll select both and come to subtract. So we've now got a frame. Let's try it in like a dark. Okay, let's try that. We'll do a different colour. That one looks as though it might be okay. We'll try it and see. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Do we want it with or without the offset? Salika, I really love it. Good job. Well, you can all go and try these fonts, can't you? Salika and the one I just showed you that we don't particularly like is called Miracle Day, and they're both from Da Font. So you can always go and try it with those yourself, but we'll keep going with this one for now. Alison's saying the more you're doing it, it's sinking in. I'm knowing your next move. Brilliant. That's what I like to hear. Fantastic. This one is a little bit more confusing though, because we are literally using all 4 of the process overlap commands. In a lot of ones I've shown you before, we've maybe used subtract and weld, or we've used divide on something else, but this one we're using everything, because we're using subtract to make the frame, then we're using process overlap to punch the words out of the frame, then we're using divide to break it all up to get rid of the bits we don't want, and then we're using weld, so we literally are using them all. Aaron, it's from dafont.com. Let me try and put it on the screen. Hang on. There, Aaron, you should be able to see it now. Ted is saying, I feel like if I was doing this for a card, I'd want to have it 5x7. Yeah, I think the bigger the better, definitely. And have it more, yeah, have it horizontal rather than portrait to give you the width. But again, it's with an offset, please. Okay. Again, it depends on the font. You know, it might work better with something like Impact, you know, that's a more bold font. I think these would look great for signs. Like, was it Ted said? I think they'd be lovely for signs. But, you know, I'm just showing you the functions. What you do with it is up to you. Alison's saying, I'm going to try Grandma's font you used last week, not Grandma's Garden. You're going to have to play around with it, Alison, because, you know, it's how you put the baseline of your fonts below the frame. So you're just going to have to play around with it and see. Vicky's saying that makes this a great lesson on how the process work and how they are different. Thanks, Vicky. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done one showing all 4 at the same time. I know I've done combinations of them. But I don't think I've ever done all 4 at the same time. Anyway, let's plod on and see. So we've got the frame, okay, and we've got the word, and we're on Salika. So let's hit divide to break it up and move the letters over and see how this one gets on. And again, some words are going to look better in some fonts rather than others. I don't think I'm particularly happy with how this one looks in this particular font, but I can see a stray bit of font there. Let's get rid of that. But we can try it and see. So I'm going to select them all and try and weld. And if you're ever unsure whether they've welded or not, just remove the fill. And then you can see. See, to me, this looks a bit odd here because of this funny curly bit on the F and then where we've joined the A. But, you know, we'll try it and see. Right, let's fill it back in. I might make it a bit bigger actually. You can always stretch it out a bit. Just make it work for you, really. So Ted, is it possible to do the word vertically, reading from top to bottom with each letter of the word below the previous letter? Not sure. Yeah, you can, Ted, but there's not a way to do vertical text in canvas. So basically you would have to type each individual letter separately and then line them up vertically. Thank you. Got rid of it now. Yeah, sorry. I forget because I'm that busy looking at my screen. I forget to look at what you're actually seeing. Yeah, I've took it down now, so I'll just wait for you to all catch up before I go any further. Okay, you should all be seeing that it's gone now, hopefully. Yeah, it's gone off. I'm watching it on my phone as well. Yeah, Ted, it's gone now, thank you. Okay, we've welded it. Let's make an offset of it. So we'll come back to the edit icon, we'll come down to offset. We'll make the offset 0.12, did I do before? We'll say outward. And you want to make sure that this box right at the bottom is unticked. Okay, if you have that ticked, you'll only get an outline. And what we need is the actual shape of the words. So we're going to say, okay, here's the outline. I've moved it, Monica. It's not working with this word, but we'll stick with it for now. So I'm going to fill this in with turquoise so that you can see it. And again, you can see that there's a bit here that it will be cut out, but if you want to remove it, usually with it selected, if you hit subtract, it will punch it out, okay? Just so it looks visually better. Let's select both and center them. Now, again, there's quite a bit below here and only a little bit there, but so long as some of it's below, we should be okay. Let's see if we can move it up a little bit. I'll just recenter it. Thea's saying, have to go, Ashley. This is brilliant. Stay safe. Yes, take care, Thea. Thanks. Responding to your comment, type each letter separately. Yeah, because there's no vertical text in Canvas, you literally would have to type F, then A, then I, then T, then H as completely separate words on your screen. Yeah, that's the same, Lynn. You just type them individually and then move them. Right, let's come back to this. So we're going to go to remove overlap. Bring this out of the way. Now we've got the frame with the holes punched out of it, so we're going to go to divide to break it up. Let's move this out of the way, get rid of those, bring the frame back in, bring this back in. Select both. Let's see if it'll weld together. It's all gone one colour, so it's all welded together. And again, if you take the fill out, although it's not there, so I'm going to undo. And I'm going to just bring the frame in ever so slightly, just a tad, so that it overlaps. I'm not touching the word because obviously we've already, made the word, the offset word from the original word. So we'll select both and weld. Okay, now we'll take the fill out and now you can see it's all welded together. And then this one, we'll come over to the layers tab, we'll take it to the top so it comes to the front, and then that will sit on there. Right, let me see what you're saying. Do you have the We Are Memory Keeper? No, I don't, Aaron. Last Sunday's live, I showed how to use the foil, the glue pen foil, but I don't have the Memory Keepers one, the one that you plug in on the USB stick. Oh, Monica's answered the question. Thanks for that. So Lynn saying, I do the whole word together at the same time, Ashley, then once divided, move horizontal. Okay, so you type your word. Okay, so let's type Faith. Okay, let's change the font to something else just for now. So then you would come to divide and then move them vertically. Yeah? Okay, yeah, you can do that. Yeah. And then you could weld them. Yeah, that's a good point, Lynn. Right, what's Sally saying? Hi, Ashley. If you use the align distribute objects, that should get your words vertical. Let's try it. Don't know. So what do you mean? Type the word as one, Sally. But then the align and distribute are not selected. So let's divide them. Okay, I'm with you now. So you break them up by using divide, so they're all individual. And then you're using distribute vertically. Okay. And then we need to adjust the spacing, don't we? Center them. Am I using the wrong one? So they're all separate. And then we want to distribute them on the vertical. Oh, hang on. I've got all my words mixed up now. Let's try that again. So if we select these, let's align them centrally. Let me just catch up with what you're saying. I'm chuckling here. Divide, weld, funny, loving this. I've ticked your like button. Yes, please remember to click the like button on the video for Ashley. Thank you. Yes, yes. Okay, right. So what we're saying now, we want to, let's put that one back where that one was. So we want to distribute them, don't we? But we want them closer. Is that right? We want them closer on the vertical, don't we? No, see, they're jumping up there now. I don't want to do that. No, undo that. I don't know why it's not working. They're not moving closer together. What am I not doing, guys? Oh, hi, Paul. You need to hit the vertical button again once you have selected your spacing. Thank you. So let's do, to overlap them, it should be a minus, shouldn't it? So should we try minus 0.2? I don't know if this is going to work. And then hit the vertical again. Is that, thanks, Paul. But I've made it too close, haven't I? So this needs to be less. So this needs to be minus 0.1. And then hit vertical again. See, I knew Paul was a genius. Okay, so that's basically how you do it. So you can type your word, divide it, and then you can align it vertically. Okay, we got there in the end. Type word as you've done. Yeah, okay. I think you need to make the spacing something like minus. Yeah, done that. Use the align to 0 and hit the down one. Okay. You have to type the 0 first. Okay. So let's select them all again now. So we've got them at 0. So what we're saying, hit 0, enter, and then align them. Okay, and then let's align them centrally. Okay, so I don't think they're quite touching, so then we do need a minus, don't we? So if we say minus 0.02, enter, and vertical. There you go, and I think they might be overlapping now. Let's try welding them and filling them with a colour and see. I'm just going to make them bigger. Yeah, they are overlapping. Okay, there you go. Right, I'm going to get rid of that now. Right, so that's what we've done tonight. I'm just going to move them, just moving them around the page a little bit, just so that I can get them all on. There you go. Right, so is everybody okay with what we've done so far? Teamwork, definitely. Yeah, I often say 0, align, then use the arrow keys to overlap. Okay, good idea, Charlotte, well done. Right, I'm just going to have a quick drink of my juice. So that started off with my basic heart with my word welded into it. Then we've gone into adding offsets, and then we've gone into different shapes and creating offsets for the words as well. So phew, that's all I can say. Barbara's saying masterclass. Ellen's saying thank you, fabulous. Anita's saying brilliant. Great, thank you, Ashley. It was Barbara. Monica's saying I always learn something new. Thanks, Ashley. So basically we've used all 4 functions in one video tonight, all using the process overlap. So hopefully if you go back and watch it and then you follow it along yourself, you'll understand how to use those functions for something in the future. So Lynn's saying another great live, Ashley, thanks again for your valuable time. You're welcome. Rachel's saying thanks again for your time, going to have a play now. Good, go and try it out and see. But like I say, I wouldn't go too small if you're going to try these on cards, because depending on the font that you use, your blade might struggle cutting them. But if you're cutting something bigger, or certainly for signs or for frames, you know, these would work a treat. Charlotte's saying so excited for all the interesting things we can do with this. Thanks all, you're welcome. Caroline's saying thank you. Ted's saying Ashley, thanks so much for giving up your time to share your knowledge. You're welcome. Barbara's saying great stuff, Ashley. Yet again, thank you so much. Suzanne is saying thank you, and Janet is saying excellent show. I've learned so much. Thank you. Brilliant. Well done, guys. Well, thank you. Okay, please all give the video a thumbs up. Use the big thumbs up under the video, not necessarily the one in the chat, because the more you hit the one under the video, the more it pushes the videos out to other people, and then they get to be able to watch as well. Linda Lee is saying this was fantastic. Thank you. We learned a great new thing. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Marcia's saying, super okay, thanks for this. You're all welcome. Right, has anybody got any last minute questions before I go? Because it's 6:15 now. So while we're all waiting, don't forget there's the card sketch to go and look at. There's the patchwork cushion. The card sketch is on my blog, which is here. The patchwork cushion is a blog post I've done for Makers Superstore, so that's on their blog. And then there's other random things that I've been posting on Instagram in the last couple of days for future projects. Just finishing off my juice. Jim says hi. Hi to Jim as well. Thanks, Alison. Hope he's okay. Marcia is saying, we'll work on doing the heart later. Stay well, everybody. Yeah, same to you, Marcia. Vicky, you're welcome. And you, same to you. Stay safe. Okay, I'm just going to give it another couple of seconds. Oh, Barbara's saying, is it possible one live to show cutting thicker board and maybe making an embossing template? I can try it, Barbara. Yeah, I'll give it a try first and see how it works. I've shown how to make embossing templates before using, what did I use? The laminated photo pouches. They were like for stencils, but yeah, I suppose we could try it. Could give it a go and see. I think sometimes rather than cutting thicker board, sometimes I think it's best to cut the same depth of board but several times and glue it together, you know, rather than trying to cut chipboard, because sometimes if your mat's not sticky enough, chipboard will probably cut, but it needs cutting more than once, maybe 2 or 3 times, and it can sometimes shift on your mat and then it doesn't cut in the same place. So sometimes it's better to cut a thinner board but cut maybe say 3 or 4 layers of it, glue it all together, and then, you know, try that. The only thing with making them into embossing folders is you've got to have the negative and the positive, haven't you? Is that what you mean? I think I have tried that in the past when I had my puzzles machine a long time ago, and it is a bit of a faff, I think. But Vicky's saying, I'm going to find those fonts now before I forget. Well, they are under font because that's where I got them from, Vicky. Yolanda's saying, goodbye all, keep safe. Yes, same to you, Yolanda, take care. Happy lockdown crafting, everybody. Yeah, I know. I've got loads of projects lined up, actually. I've got quite a few sewing projects lined up. In fact, I've got one all cut and ready to sew up and film tomorrow. Teddy's saying you can also click save above the subscribe button if you want to save this. Oh, well done. Thanks, Ted. Alison's saying, I save this one as I do with them all, Ted. Thanks for your help. Okay. So you can click save while you're watching, is that what you mean? Paul's saying glue 3 to 4 cut boards to make your embossing folder. Yeah, that's what I mean. Sometimes it's better to do that, isn't it, Paul, than trying to cut through chipboard? Because like I say, if your mat's not sticky enough and chipboard needs to be cut several times, it can shift. So I'm more a fan of cutting thinner board and gluing it together. Yes, I have several playlists. Okay, that's good to know. Right, well, I think I'm going to go and see if I can get something to eat. I can't see any more questions, so unless anything pops up in the last few minutes. But yes, Barbara, we can try it. I've been experimenting with the embossing kit to make stitched frames. It doesn't work on cheap cardstock. Need to try Stampin' Up cardstock. Okay. Yes, that sounds like the answer. I will try. Thanks, Paul, to take care. Okay. Or use Mylar sheets. Yeah, but are we talking about making stencils? Or are we talking about making an embossing folder? Because for an embossing folder, you need the positive and the negative, don't you, to push the card through? I'm not sure what you mean now, Barbara. I'm a bit confused. Surely it doesn't work if you just cut something out of thick board. Alison's saying, save your videos in a ScanNCut folder. Night, night. Thanks again, Ashley. You're welcome, Alison. Take care. Janet's saying, I've saved them all to watch again. Okay. Well, they are all in playlists as well, and the Sunday Night Lives, excuse me, are all in the live playlist. Like the sewing ones are in the sewing playlist. So we do categorise them on my channel as well, in the hope that you can find them. So if it's something specifically to do on the machine, there's a machine playlist. You can just go and look back through that. I'm a bit confused about this embossing thing now. I'm not quite sure what you mean. You're welcome, Ted. Take care. Right, okay. I thought that was what you were meaning. You need the negative and the positive, don't you? Yeah, okay, that's fine. That is what I've tried before a long time ago with the puzzles, but it was a bit of a faff because you've got to get all the bits. I don't know, Alison. I'm a bit confused. I thought they meant for putting through like a big shot or something. If that's the case, you need the positive and the negative. Paul Bailey's saying, working on some ideas for the Queen's 95th birthday. Okay. Right, I can't see any last minute questions or comments, so I'm going to say take care to everybody. Have a good rest of your day or night or early morning, wherever you are. Stay safe, and hopefully I'll talk to you all next Sunday. Thanks.